Welcome to Soccer in 60, presented by the Empire Strykers. Get ready for your weekly look at all the pro soccer teams in Greater Los Angeles. We've got all the news and analysis you need, from LAFC and the LA Galaxy to the Empire Strykers, Angel City FC, and Orange County Soccer Club. Now, buckle up and enjoy Soccer in 60.
Welcome to the fastest paced soccer show in SoCal. This is Soccer in 60, brought to you by SAC Health System, covering all the week's news, highlights, and more from LAFC, the LA Galaxy, Angel City, Orange County Soccer Club, and of course, the Major Arena Soccer League's own Empire Strykers. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, J.R. Liebert, affectionately known as The Scarf. And I got these three guys with me to talk all the soccer that we possibly could here in the Southland from the Lacuna Galaxiana podcast. Co-hosts Rob and Ananda. Rob and Ananda, welcome back to Soccer in 60.
Hey, thank you
What's
so
up,
much,
guys?
guys, for having us back. We do appreciate it. Good to see y'all.
Absolutely. And of course, the fourth member of our fearsome foursome up here, the Soccer in 60 regular. He's Timmy K, Tim Kolotz. Tim, welcome back, buddy.
JR the Scarf Man, it's great to be here as always for another great show on Soccer in 60, baby.
Loving it. You're ready to talk all kinds of great things here with soccer in the Southland. Streaks of all kinds came to an end at LAFC. The Galaxy looking to climb out of the bottom of the table for the first time all season. A U.S. women's national team legend calls it a career for Angel City. A thriller down in Orange County at Great Park. I don't know how many people were there to watch it, but it was incredible. And the Empire Strykers learned their opponent for the home opener, and it is going to be a good one at Toyota Arena. An incredible week indeed. And you guys, we're going to kick it off. Since we've got the boys from Lacuna Galaxiana here, Rob and Ananda, let's start off by talking about your Galaxy. This last match, turnabout, fair play. Lost 2-1 to FC Dallas in your last match, but you reverse the result on them at Dignity Health Sports Park, 2-1, the win at home against FC Dallas. And what a difference having, I don't know, your best player back. Gabriel Peck looked impeccable. Rob, your thoughts on just getting him not just back, but back at the way that he looked, as dangerous as he was?
Yeah, you described it, impeccable. I mean, he when he's on, he's can play with anybody in the league. I mean, he's a fright. He got the assist, he gets goal. I mean, he just looked good. And when he's playing like that, and Joseph Painsel's playing like that on the other side, it creates a host of opportunities for the entire team. So long may it continue. It's great to see him back like this.
Yeah, he's one of the 4 or 5 maybe most talented players in the entire league. He's an absolutely incredible talent there for the Galaxy. Ananda, let me ask you, that first goal, that little inside flick of the foot there from Gabriel Peck. But Winder, he was off to the races on that goal. Let me ask you, he hasn't gotten a ton of burn this season for the Galaxy, but what is he showing down the stretch, especially on a play like that makes you think, okay, for the future, this might be a piece?
Yeah, Elijah Winder showed us a part of his game that we haven't really seen all year, Scarf. He's been playing more in that double pivot position, where he's been asked by Greg to really hold down that and solidify, especially in those transition moments, both defensively and offensively. And he talked to us post-match, Scarf, and one of the things that he talked about was just his adjustment period and how difficult it's been, at least, to learn Greg's system. But now he's starting to learn where he needs to pick his spots, whether he's got to be in the pocket, or in this case, he was asked, especially when we were in man up, to run past the ball and make those runs. And like you said, beautiful outside the flick pass, a little Travella pass, and he's got the physicality to make those runs, and long may that continue for sure.
Yeah, he was shoulder to shoulder with his defender, bodied him off the entire time. But Ananda hinted at it, Tim, you've got the appropriate shirt on for it. I've got to ask, the controversial red card there in the 16th minute, Logan Farrington. First, Tim, I'd love to get your opinion on whether it should have been a red or not. But then second, What does that do for a club like Galaxy, who's now able to play a man up for the final, 75 minutes almost or so of the match?
Well, I'll put my referee hat back on, and in the opinion of the referee, that's the only thing that matters. But I think it was a red card. I mean, controversial, schmontroversial. It's a red card, and he's gone. But I think what it does to the Galaxy, it allows them to relax a little bit and actually get into the flow of the game. But Robin, the group here, we talked about it pregame. They still didn't look very good even right after that red card. They still took them another, 15, 20 minutes to really pull it together and understand, hey, we've got a guy open all the time. Let's move the ball. Let's stretch the field. Let's go chalk to chalk instead of end line to end line. We don't always have to go north-south. Let's go a little east-west, tired the Dallas guys out a little bit. And then they finally figured it out, and they put a couple biscuits in the basket at the end of the game.
Yeah. Rob, I have to ask, I thought about you when Dallas equalizes, just 6 minutes into the second half. I thought, all of those results that you've lamented, you and I have talked about it over this past season. I had to think that maybe some flashbacks, some PTSD was coming back. But let me ask you about Garces and that incredible play on the breakaway. And what was it, the 78th minute, that allegedly he got there shoulder to shoulder. And if you watch it in slow motion, he actually did. I mean, talk about this kid. I mean, Garces has been under a microscope all season, but talk about what a play like that can mean as he's looking to close out the season on a high note.
Well, the play itself means that the Galaxy takes away 3 points. I mean, let's be honest. It was a game-saving tackle, if not Sarver's in. And the Galaxy lose this match. They drop 3 points at home. Up a man. Can you imagine the embarrassment? So first off, Amito saves their blushes, right? And the play itself is just a micro of what Amito Garces is, right? Just the closing speed, the one-on-one defending, the ability to get back and not only make the tackle, but make the tackle in a clean way. The Galaxy defense is another defense when Amito Garces is playing. I mean, when you have Yoshida next to Zonka, I mean, you can see the how much slower the defense is, the ability to get into transition with Amito Garces. It's totally different. And like I said, he is the reason that the Galaxy are talking about 3 points, and we're not sitting here talking about, hey, that was kind of embarrassing. They just lost with a man up.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, taking away those 3 points, Ananda, because of the play, once again, of Gabriel Peck. He's kind of at the right place in the right time, but also he's the one that was pressing the envelope every single minute of this match. So it almost felt fitting, right, that it was Gabriel Peck able to put that one away in the box. What does it mean? Again, we talk about this a lot with Denis Bouanga with LAFC, how you're going to get 90 full minutes from Denis Bouanga. You got 90 full minutes from Gabriel Peck on this one, and he gets you the winner. Just talk about the player that he is to be able to still do that in the 86th, 87th minute.
Yeah, incredible player with incredible stamina. We saw it too all last year. The funny part, though, is Scarf, I thought he left a lot on the table. He could have had more. He got into some really, really nice positions. You probably had the same conversation with Denny as well. But at the end of the day, the stats show, the goal and the assist. But like I said, this guy, he has incredible stamina. I just hope that next year, especially, if you look at the overall production of Gabriel Peck, it's not at the level where it was in 24. And it was funny coming into this year, we talked about him potentially being that MVP. Our question to Greg was, what's it going to take for Gabriel Peck to get that to that MVP level? And so I think that's the expectation, right? This guy could be a really, really good signing or a good sell in the future. And I think that's where the bar is. So it's it was nice to see him get his reward, but sometimes you want a little more. And maybe that's me being greedy. I don't know, but I think you just want a little more.
Bit.
Give it
yo, I'll pop in on that too. I mean, we've heard Greg say a couple times, and maybe not a criticism of Gabriel Peck, but just letting us know where he would like to see him improve. And he says all the time that Gabriel Peck needs to go ahead and take that final action at speed. There was a couple times during this match that he was in or he had the advantage on his man and for whatever reason slowed down to collect himself, or you saw it on 2 or 3 different occasions, and it's just like Greg says, you're not getting the entire Gabriel Pecci because he's not taking those actions at 100% speed. Basically, he's kind of pulling his punches, I guess, and so you're not getting the full development or production from him.
So let me hop in here for a second. Do you think, Rob, or Ananda, do you think that's because of the way he's been coached not to, and to feed the other guys a little bit?
I think part of it, Tim, is a little bit of overthinking. I think when he's in kind of a slump or, not as productive as he felt maybe last year, there is a little bit of overthinking. Like usually when strikers are bang on, they finish with instinct, right? You see that a lot with strikers, and maybe he's kind of overthinking, like, okay, because there was a couple of moments this year where he should have made the pass and he shot, and the opposite, right? So maybe there's a little bit of overthinking there, but we talked about this before, guys. When you see the ball go in the back of the net, that confidence goes up, and then your instincts kick in a lot more naturally than you are when maybe you're in a little bit of a slump. I don't know about you, Rob.
No, absolutely. I mean, you pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, it's great for his confidence, and every striker needs it.
Yep.
Yeah. And look, we see it with great strikers all the time, right? They get into those slumps every now and then where it seems like they can't finish, but Peck, at least on his front foot in this one, able to get you guys 3 points. Saturday at home at Dignity Health Sports Park against Minnesota United. Minnesota with everything to play for, anywhere from 2nd to 4th in the standings. And Galaxy, you don't even need a point right now to finish out of the wooden spoon race, but 1 point would pretty much secure it at that point. You're going to be doing a lot of DC United watching, but did you think real quick, and we got 10 seconds here, did you think at the maybe a couple of games ago that you could finish as high as maybe 6th from the bottom instead of where you're facing a couple of games
Absolutely
ago?
Not.
No,
absolutely not.
No, I didn't think they would take the wooden spoon, but climbing that high up the table, woo!
Yeah,
24th place. Here we come.
Yep, they could finish above 5 other teams. Unfortunately, one of those teams that they won't be able to finish above is LAFC. So we're going to transition on over to the boys in black and gold. And they did not look like themselves in Austin, Texas, because, well, they were down 4 guys on international duty, 2 of which we've talked quite a bit about in best 11 over the last few weeks or so, with Denis Bouanga and Son Heung-min, both on international duty. Sonny was getting beat up by Brazil. That was a woodshed beating that Korea took there. While Denis Bouanga is trying to will Gabon into their first ever World Cup, which would be kind of neat. But
that'd be amazing.
This match in Austin, I mean, that was a snooze fest. I don't think LAFC played as badly defensively in this one. But I think one thing, and Tim, this is what was most telling for me, right at the start of the match, when you're down Sonny and you're down Denis, you start Jeremy Obasi because, of course, he's one of your 2 proven strikers that you've got left on the bench. Nathan Ordaz, by the way, also out with El Salvador. And you don't start David Martinez. You don't start the mercurial 19-year-old Venezuelan prospect. I think as an LAFC supporter, it tells you an awful lot about what Steve Cherundolo thinks right now about David Martinez. But Tim, I want to know what you think that said by not starting David Martinez.
I think that Cherundolo doesn't believe that he's where he should be at. 19 or not, he was brought in to be one of these lead strikers and be up on there and just, Rob touched on it earlier, and so did Ananda. When you're a striker, you have one goal: shoot the ball hard, and put it on frame. And apparently, clearly, by him not getting that start up front with your 2 main guys, your 3 main guys gone, it says a lot about where his development is, and maybe he needs to develop a lot more. And maybe next season he will get that starting nod 5, 6, 7 games into the season. But right now he's just not there, and it's clear by him not getting the start.
Yeah, it's been a body language issue. It's been a performance on the pitch issue. It's been a few different things for David Martinez. Keep in mind, he is still just 19 years old as we're talking about him right now. But a lot of streaks came to an end in this one, right? LAFC's 11-match road unbeaten streak, one away from the MLS record, that's gone. The 6-match winning streak, that's gone. The almost 430-minute shutout streak ends in the 86th minute, I think it might have been, for Owen Wolff. And by the way, MLS came out with their 22 under 22 best players in MLS, and there's David Martinez at number 5, not starting, but one spot above him is Owen Wolff from Austin, and he showed why he's that guy. I don't know what that means moving forward, but really need to get something out of David Martinez, whether that means they sell and maybe they switch to the 3DP 3 under 22 model. Not quite sure. Let me ask you, Ananda, I'm not sure. Were you able to watch highlights of the match? Did you watch the match? Were you able to hate watch the match, as you said you might have done a couple of times?
Yeah. Just hate watch the highlights in this occasion. Yeah.
All right. Well, there was a moment where Nkosi Tafari went on walkabout, right? Where he takes the ball essentially from right near his box and goes all the way down the pitch, makes a couple great maneuvers, and then has a shot saved in the 81st minute or so. And I have to ask, as you know, as a casual or as a non-LAFC supporter, when you get to watch a 6'4" center back race 60 yards up the pitch and take it right at goal, that's at least got to be a little fun for even neutrals to watch, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And of course, as a hate watcher, you also expect that a blunder or a counterattack would happen on the other end. So, you know, that takes into account there. But no, I mean, absolutely. When you have that kind of skill, I mean, we've seen center backs like around the world that have ball playing ability. When they do that, there is a little sort of twinkle there. But it's funny though. I'm more curious, and I don't know if you know this, Scarf, what the reaction from Cherundolo was. Like, was that a piece of brilliance? Or was that like knowing how Cherundolo is tactically? Did he get a little bit of an earful maybe after that for not being tactically astute? Right. It depends on the manager. So yeah, listen, I'm more curious about that.
No, I totally agree with that thought process. However, I think what Nkosi was thinking is no one else has done a stinking thing for most of this match. We've basically produced no XG. We haven't been attacking at all. I'm going to take it into my own hands. And honestly, he puts a little bit of air under that ball. It's 1-1. And we're talking about Mohamed El Munir did this a couple seasons back where he made this incredible run up the sideline. And just these players who don't normally make runs like that. We all were at least excited. It was almost like as Laker fans when we used to watch Shaq run point.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Everybody stopped what you were doing when Shaq was handling point guard duties. That's for sure. So,
yep.
Yo, Scarf. But I have a question for you, man.
Yes, sir.
You said that a couple streaks came to an end here, right? But do you almost kind of feel like this loss was it? You know, better to get it out of the way now. Yeah, of course, all the big guns are out and stuff like that. But is this kind of like a wake-up call? Like, hey, get it out of the way now, one game before the playoffs, and then, you can go into the playoffs like, hey, remember, we just lost. That could happen again against a team like Austin,
the only reason why I say no in this one is because of who we were missing, right? They didn't beat LAFC with Denny, with Son, with Matthew Chonier, who might be the most dynamic midfielder in Canada, had an incredible international break. I think that if we are at full strength and we lose this match, then absolutely, it could be what happened in 2022, where I think we went 0-2 against Austin in the regular season, especially one late, and then 22 wound up being a pretty good year for us. So I do think that I do think it's something, but I don't think it's nearly what it would be if we were at full strength, just trying to track down Vancouver, eyes on the prize, and then we get tripped up by a definitely subpar Austin team. We're talking about a team, no Brandon Vasquez, no Mirto Uzuni. Like, they were without their two best goal scorers as well. So I was really happy that Owen Wolff was able to come out of nowhere for them. Unless you're an LAFC supporter, then you're not happy about it at all. So one other thing I want to ask you guys, a little roundtable discussion here. Argentina sent Messi home so he could play for Inter Miami. And of course, all he does is score 2 goals, take a golden boot lead into the final day by 2. Is there any chance with Messi playing Does Denis Bouanga have any shot at all? Tim, he's 2 goals behind right now. What are his Golden Boot chances?
I'd say they're about 70-30 against. He's going to have to come out and get a hat trick, and Messi's going to not play. Because if Messi's got that, I mean, he's definitely got his eyes on that prize. And if he sees that Bouanga is going to play and he's going to go out there and he gets a couple of them this weekend, I bet you they both are fight for it and get into it. But I bet you Denis misses it by at least a goal, if not 2.
Listen, you give me 30% odds. I like those odds. I'm taking those. That's good money right there. Rob, any chance that Denis is able to catch Messi?
I think so. I think LAFC traditionally has had some pretty good nights against Colorado, whereas Nashville's a little bit more defensively sound against a team like Inter Miami. So I think there's at least a chance.
I hear you.
There's a chance.
Ananda is there?
Well, it's kind of like that quote, right? So you're saying there's a chance,
right?
But you're also going against the GOAT. So it's like, especially when you're like, the GOAT doesn't need handicaps. Like, he doesn't need any help. Like, you know what I mean? A 2-goal advantage is probably, it's probably a little too far to climb. But look, man, I'm sure Messi's going to want to, I think this run now, just taking it a little step further, like this run, starting with this game and to the rest of the playoffs, I think given what's going on with Inter Miami in terms of, his friends that are sort of retiring, I think he's really going to put the pedal to the metal. I think you're going to see a pretty motivated Messi for the rest of the season in the playoffs.
Listen, I didn't want to say it out loud, but they put up the graphic on MLS, 49 goal contributions for Carlos Vela in his amazing year. I think Messi's at 45. It wouldn't surprise me if Messi messes around and does something to get close to that. I don't know. It's going to be a lot of fun. LAFC has to travel up to Colorado, where they've won exactly 1 time in 6 tries in Major League Soccer regular season matches. So a rough place to play for sure. Let's check in with our friends over at Omnitrans real quick. In partnership with the Empire Strykers, experience the thrill of game day with Omnitrans. Be in the heart of the action at Toyota Arena and let Omnitrans take care of the ride. Simply download the Transit app to catch your bus and enjoy a stress-free trip to cheer on the Strykers. Don't miss out on any of the excitement and make sure every moment counts at Toyota Arena. Ride with Omnitrans to your next Empire Strykers game. I believe this is where we say farewell to Rob. I think, Rob, you said you had to get somewhere, so we appreciate you, my friend. Thank you once again for joining us on Soccer in 60. Oh, and there he goes. All right. Ananda, you're still sticking with us. So now we got the 3-headed monster here. This is going to be a lot of fun. Let's talk a little bit about Orange County Soccer Club. And Tim, you're obviously our resident Orange County Soccer Club expert, but we all got to watch the match against San Antonio at Great Park. What an incredible finish. If you could only watch the final 10 minutes in stoppage time, you still saw one of the best games of the season by Orange County Soccer Club. Let me ask you, first of all, what a time to get your first goal of the season by Ousmane Sylla.
Yeah, not so bad. You get the game winner in 2 minutes of added time, and you justifiably you get your yellow card after you score and run around and jump in the stands and stuff like that. Take off your jersey and say yes, because I mean, it was incredible. Sylla has had a very rough year. He's had a lot of injuries, as the Orange County boys have been decimated by him this year. Traeger missed a ton of time. You had Zubak out, you had Shuttler out, you had all these guys missing a ton of time. But for them to get that in a game they absolutely must have had, I mean, there's nothing like getting that game winner in second minute of extra time to magically go from out of the playoff window in 9th, and now you're sitting in 7th, on goal differential. This is amazing for the Orange County boys.
Eliminating 2 teams in the process. I think we lost Ananda. I was going to try to sneak in an Ethan Zubak question to Ananda before he had to leave. Ethan Zubak with 11 goals. But let me ask you this question, Tim, that I was ready to ask Ananda. 16 players have scored a goal for Orange County Soccer Club this year. Maybe even now 17 with Sylla. I have to go back and see if they updated their stats before I saw that goal. It could be even 17, like I said. But other than Ethan Zubak at 11, there's a big drop off. I think Ben Alcazar has 4, a couple players with 3. Come playoff time, what does that mean for Orange County Soccer Club? Are they dangerous because they've had that many different players score a goal? Or is it kind of an issue where if you can slow down Ethan Zubak, then you've really got Orange County behind the 8 ball?
I think it's depending on how you look at it. If you're Coach Danny Stone, you look at it as you're dangerous because I've got 15, 16 guys, 17 guys that can put the ball in the net. If you're a team like Lexington, you just look at it and say, okay, we shut down Zubak and we win. I think it's actually a good thing because you got a guy like Nico Ben Alcazar who's been on the show and has had a great season this year. I think you look at a guy like this that can bring that in. You mentioned it. Stephen Kelly also got his first goal against New Mexico over the weekend. Scores just a banger of a goal on a quick turn and helps them get a draw in that game. So if you look at it like that, you don't have to rely only on Ethan Zubak to carry your team. It's kind of like Son and Denis, right? These guys have magically meshed, and they've each got a dozen goals, it seems like, in 4 games. But when you look at it, you look at that, and you get Kelly on the board, you get Hagart on the board consistently, you get a guy like Ben Alcazar that scores. I think that actually makes Orange County a much more dangerous team than most other teams are going to give them credit for.
Yeah, and you might be able to put Scylla in this category, but let me ask you, is there a striker on Orange County Soccer Club who has needed to do more during the regular season but hasn't, that you're hoping steps up? And now, look, they're still a little bit of a ways away from clinching a playoff spot, but they're firmly in now at 7th, I believe, right? And it was a fantastic victory for them to get there. It's going to be a little bit of an uphill road next match, and we'll talk about that in a second. But is there a striker on Orange County that you need to see more of down this last stretch and come playoff time?
Well, I think because now that they're healthy, I think Traeger has got to do more. And I think Mohamedou War has got to do more too. I think between those two guys, because you just use the speed of War. And again, these guys have been banged up. Traeger has missed an exceptional amount of time. But you've got to, and again, we've talked about it every week. All these guys are young. You got Espy coming in at 15. You got War coming in. And these guys, there's a ton of teenagers on this team. But I think if Danny Stone's team is going to make a run, you're going to have a couple of these guys. And I think the guy to watch out for is really Tristan Traeger. He's got some time beneath him. You get him under good legs, and now that he's getting into game shape, he's gotten a couple of starts lately. Now that he's in game shape, I think he's the guy to really watch out for to be up there with Zubak on that front line.
And you mentioned head coach Danny Stone. The seat might have started to get a little warm under Danny Stone over these last 2 months. I mean, this win comes almost 2 months to the day since Orange County's last win in a match. 9 matches without a win. Now, granted, 5 draws and a couple of very good performances in those draws, but what does this win do for Danny Stone and maybe his confidence as a coach, knowing, okay, tactically, maybe I figured out the defense. We still got a little ways to go on the offensive end of things. We mentioned it, right? He's brought in guys like Stephen Kelly and some of these other players a little bit later in the season that are still having to adjust. What does a win like this do for the head man?
Well, I think it's a lot. And I don't know if you saw it, but the team announced today on Wednesday that he's going to be back for next season.
Yeah.
So clearly the team is behind him. They know what it is. And I think really what you saw tonight was a justification for that extension of his contract through next season. As we well know, USL, the guys tend to not stay very long. 2-3 years is a typical thing because they make their mark. They move into, over into Europe or what have you. But I think with the extension for Coach Stone, I think the players played up a little bit more tonight and made sure that they got that win to get that into that playoff spot and prove the senior management over at Orange County that Coach Stone is the right guy for this team.
All right, and you mentioned it. 2 matches to go, both at home at Great Park. But let me ask you, I only watched the match on television. I think you were also watching it on TV, right? Were you weren't in the arena, right?
I was not at the arena, no.
It did not look like a great crowd for this one. Now, granted, it's a Wednesday, it's a school night. There's a lot going on right now. But I was a little surprised because one thing we know, come playoff time, come championship match time, they tend to fill Great Park. They tend to fill the champ pretty well. What do you make of the crowd tonight?
I think there's a couple of things. I think fall showed up over the past 2 days, and I think what you're saying is exactly right. You've got it's a Wednesday night. It's kind of like the game that Angel City played on Monday. You know, they're not putting 25,000 inside of BMO because it's a Monday night, right? I think this one was a little tougher to have that small of a crowd, but I come this weekend with the beer fest, and now that they're in a playoff spot, I bet you the champ is packed this week. And if there's anything less than 4,500 fans in the stands, I would be shocked and amazed. I bet you it's sell out.
I couldn't agree more. And for those of you that are listening to us on your podcast player and you're not in Southern California, there's not a player named fall. It's a very short window we have here in the Southland that it feels like fall for like, I don't know, a couple of weeks. And then it goes on to winter and it's a whole big mess. So he was talking about the season. Now, their next match, by the way, all you got to do is beat USL world beaters Louisville City. Just one loss in 28 matches on the year for Louisville City. 69 points, 19 goals allowed in 28 matches. Let me ask you, Tim, this is our last question about OCSC. What do they have to do to break through against these juggernauts?
I think it boils down to 2 things. 1, put the ball in the net, and 2, keep it out of it. No, I think really what it is Nico and Stephen Kelly and these guys, they've got to play really, really well in that midfield. They've really got to shut that streakiness down the left wing, especially down, because Orange County for the past, year or two has really had a problem with that right side for that left wing on most of these other teams that are the better teams. So I think what they need to do is really shut down that left wing. And I think they've got a fighting chance to come out of this with at least a result.
Yeah, if they can get a result at home against Louisville City, they've been incredible all year. Before we head on over to talk about the Empire Strykers, we'll check in real quick with our friends over at National Core. National Core is one of the nation's largest nonprofit affordable housing developers and a proud sponsor of your MASL team, the Empire Strykers. At National Core, they believe that soccer has the power to transform lives just like they do. They believe in building strong communities on and off the field. And to learn more about National Core and their mission, go to nationalcore.org. All right, so Tim, they pull back the curtain on the home date a couple of weeks ago. We knew the home opener would be Friday, December 12th, 7:35 p.m. at Toyota Arena, one of the finest arenas in the MASL. And now we know our opponent, and you can hear the Darth Vader evil Empire march of playing. It's the San Diego Sockers coming to Toyota Arena to help us open the building. Tim, what do you say about that one?
You knew it was going to happen. I mean, they had to after the whiz bang of a game that they ended with last season. You're going to fill the arena this year, and I think it's great that you have one of the de facto best teams in the league for the past 40 years, basically, comes in and does the home opener. I think it's actually a really good gig, and I think it's going to be fun to watch.
I'm there with you. I can't wait. I can't wait to be in the building for that. Another person, I should say, who can't wait to be in the building for that is the Empire Strykers' new 6'3" center back, Brazilian Filipe Dutra. Filipe sat down with us here at Soccer in 60 for a fantastic interview. Let's head on over to our interview with the brand new Strykers center back, Filipe Dutra.
MASL is right around the corner. All kinds of exciting things happening with the Combine this weekend in Oklahoma City. And we'll also be seeing Strykers players Justin Stinson, Randy Martinez, and Tony Delatorre playing in the USA versus Mexico game, along with Marco Fabian, who will feature with Chivas in the Legends game between veterans of Club America and Chivas. These games will take place on Saturday of this week. That being said, there's an empire being built, and that brings us to the interview segment. Our guest is a new defender with the Empire Strykers. At 6'4", he's a towering figure. But given that he's also from Brazil, we expect him to fully bring the foot skills to succeed at the highest levels of indoor soccer. Having come to Connecticut at the young age of 11, he eventually found his way to Newtown Pride FC, and in 2023 won the $1 million of the TST, the world's most prestigious small-sided tournament, under current Empire head coach Obasi. We're so happy to have with us Strykers' newest defender, Filipe Dutra. Filipe, welcome to Soccer in 60.
Thank you, guys. It's an honor to be here and meet you guys and talk to you guys. And thank you so much for having me here. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now, we mentioned in the intro that you won TST in 23 with Newtown under Coach Obasi. And for those who don't know, TST is a 7v7 tournament that features many of the top players in MASL, as well as former stars of the outdoor game. Now, looking back, what do you think made your Newtown team so good that year? And what does it mean to you having won the first ever TST?
It was amazing. I remember before we go in there and we all got into a room and we're talking about it and we're just saying it would be amazing if we could win this. So with so much legends there, we knew it was gonna be hard, but it was very good. I'm very glad that we won that year. It was amazing.
You really have a solid amount of experience, at the highest level, small sided. Obviously, you mentioned TST. You played the last couple of years and then recently with Nani. At age 26, this is actually your first foray into pro indoor soccer, which you've referred to as, quote, a lifelong dream. Obviously, that connection with Obasi going back to Newtown. But talk about the opportunity with Empire, how that came about, and what made you feel like it was the right step for you.
So I met Obasi a couple years ago, and he used to tell me to come play MSL, but I couldn't play because of my visa. So I got that shirt, everything worked out, and I called him. I was like, hey, I got my visa ready, I could sign. Are you looking for a defender? He was like, yeah, of course, mate. We would love to have you here. And so it was pretty quick and fast. So I just signed my Empires, and I'm very happy that I signed with them. And Obasi told me how it works and everything. And you guys are very organized. So I'm very excited to start playing and meet my teammates.
I like your Obasi impression already. He does say mate a lot, so
yes,
that checks out. That does check out. Now, speaking of winning TST in 2023, you're not just being reunited now with your head coach from back then, but also with current Empire players Berto Palmer, Quentin Swift, Isak Somo. Do you feel that you share a special bond with those guys that you won the $1 million with? And what does it mean to have familiar faces in the locker room among your Strykers teammates?
I do. And I already know them. So I think I feel already I'm home, I know them. And it's an honor to play with Berto. So he's a beast. I look up to him. So I remember telling one of my close friends that I play with him was like, oh, this defender, he's so good. I'm trying to do the same thing he does. I'm trying to learn. He's a baller. All of those players are ballers. I'm very excited to start playing with them now.
Mm-hmm. Now, just going back to Onua Obasi here for a second. After his first season in charge of an MASL team, he was voted Coach of the Year, not least because of his innovative style, which frequently has the goalkeepers joining the attack as 6 attackers. Given your history with him, is it safe to assume, or I would say it probably is safe to assume, you have a bit of a head start on his approach and philosophy? As a defender, putting you on the spot, what would you say the key differences are from playing in a more conventional system?
I just like the way he coaches. For me, not a lot of coaches just like him. He cares about every detail, and that makes a big difference in the end, So I think he deserved the Coach of the Year, and hopefully he could get that again this year. He's a great coach, and I look up to him as well.
Obviously, you're not only taking a massive step in terms of your career as a professional athlete, but a massive step off the field as well. Like, have you been to Southern California before? How do you feel you'll gel with your new surroundings? Are there any places you're really excited to see?
Yeah, I was talking to my girlfriend about it. I'm very excited to be there because I've never been there before, and it's a place that I always wanted to go and visit. So now everything worked out perfectly. So I'm very excited to be there, and I can't wait. You know.
I'm an East Coaster. I'm from New York, and I could tell you for a fact that when I came out to California, I didn't look back. I came in December of 2015. No, November of 2015. I moved a month later. So, this might be your goodbye to the East Coast. I'm just warning you.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right. We mentioned in the intro that you're from Brazil, but that you came to Connecticut at age 11. Now, how much do you remember, growing up in Brazil? Like, what was it like? And then, what brought you to the U.S.?
Brazil, where I'm from, it's like very poor. It's a very like small town. We used to play soccer in the street every day with no shoes on because we couldn't afford shoes. It was like soccer in the street, playing futsal as well. I used to play futsal for this team for my old school there. I played there for 3 years, so that's when I started to like enjoy futsal. And my parents came to the U.S. and then I stayed in Brazil for 3 years by myself, with just me and my uncle there. I used to live with him. And then after I came after I came here and saw my parents after 3 years, and I fell in love with this place. I told them like, wow, like this is amazing. It's like a country where like they give you opportunities and stuff. So it was very good. So I'm loving it here, and I love this place.
That's great to hear. You mentioned futsal. Playing as a kid, I mean, if you're anything like other Brazilians, you played at 2 years old somewhere with your friends. How do you feel playing futsal and playing where you played and the way you played? You mentioned it wasn't easy, but how do you feel that impacted or is still impacting you as a soccer player today?
It's a sport. Futsal is like it's a quick feat. You got to pass the ball. You move quick, so that kind of helps me to go like to 11-11 or 7-7. So I'm very like glad that like I started playing futsal because that helps a lot. So I'm very happy for that.
Yeah. Moving, you mentioned obviously. I didn't know that you moved, that your parents moved first and you stayed behind. That actually makes the whole situation more difficult. But even if that hadn't been the case, coming into a totally different culture at such a young age couldn't have been easy. Do you remember how you reacted to and dealt with that change at the time, and how different was your life growing up now in Connecticut to what it was before?
It was very hard actually. Because when I got here, I remember going to school and like trying to learn English and talk to other people. It was very hard. I remember coming home after school to my parents saying like I was crying. I was like, yeah, I need to go back. This is not for me because I can't speak their language. I don't have no friends. So it's just like going to school and coming back at home. It was just every day like that. It was very hard for me. And they told me like, no, like relax. It's gonna work out. You're gonna learn their language. You're gonna have friends. And so as soon as I learned the language and got some friends here, started playing soccer with them, it was easier for me and I loved it and I got used to it. So it got easier and easier for me.
You speak English better than most people that I know that have grown up here and never left the country. So it obviously worked out.
I try. Sometimes when I'm nervous, I can't speak, but I try my best.
Nah, you're good.
While we're talking about your personal background, like let's keep getting to know you a little bit better. We'd love to learn more about Filipe Dutra away from the soccer field. Do you have any fascinating passions or hobbies? Do you like collecting, I don't know, Jordans? Do you travel to Europe and climb medieval churches? Like, give us the lowdown. Like, what are the things you like doing?
I like playing tennis.
Oh.
Yeah, I love tennis. I like watching. Sometimes I watch tennis as well. I always say to my friends, if I wasn't a soccer player, I would definitely be a tennis player. Yeah, I used to play
Very cool.
basketball as well. Yeah, I used to play basketball. Yeah, it's just that. But soccer was my first thing. I remember my first gift when I got when I was a little kid was a soccer ball. So I was like, wow, like this is so I fell in love over there with the sport. And when I was in Brazil, my uncle used to be a goalie. So he used to take me to his game every single week. So it was just easier for me. I started as a goalie actually in Brazil. I was a goalie.
Mm.
Yeah. So I came here to USA, high school. I was a goalie for my freshman year. And then my sophomore and junior, I was a striker.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
Very cool.
when I hit senior year, they moved me back. So I was center back.
Are we
So
are we gonna see you? Sorry, I have to get in there and just ask you, are we gonna see you in goal at all with the Strykers?
Hey, Obasi saw me. I actually played a tournament in Connecticut, and Obasi was there, and I was a goalie, and we won that tournament. It was
Oh wow.
15,000. Yeah, so I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see, maybe, but I know
We'll
Empire's got a
see.
great goalie. He's one of the best goalies in the league. So,
Yeah.
so they don't need me. Yeah.
Yeah, at 6'4", we'd obviously love to have you as a defender. I mean, between Gomez and Orozco and obviously DeLima, it's a little crowded back there. I'm sure you'd want to see the field as opposed to battling with your
Yeah,
teammates
of
to spend
course.
time in between the sticks. But look, final question for you, Filipe. I know you got stuff going on. Would this being your first professional season of indoor, like, have you thought about goals for the season, both individually and as a team? Like, what would make a successful rookie campaign for you?
Yeah, so my goal is just to come in and learn the game, as fast as I can. Hopefully the couple weeks, learn everything, and give my best. Um, Hopefully I can win the rookie of the year. That'll be amazing. That'll be a dream. And then win a championship. I told Abasi I'm coming here to win a championship, and I know we have a team for that. We have the players and the coaches and the staff, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna make noises this year. Hopefully, that's the goal.
Looking forward to it. Nobody's got a better seat, truthfully, besides the players, other than me, at getting to call you guys. Very much excited to have you on this team. It was a joy calling you at TST as a member of Nani, and we're certainly looking forward to you coming into Southern California. Filipe, it's been an honor, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor to be here, and nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
I gotta say thank you myself, and also mention how awesome this guy is. He is actually at Disney World right now, making time for us. So how cool is that? Thank you so much for your time today.
No problem. No problem. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you,
man. And there you go. I mean, to be 6'3", to be Brazilian, playing in Southern California, life is good if you're Filipe Dutra right now. I think a player like that for Onua Obasi is going to be a revelation out there, and a racer on the center back spot. It's going to be a wonderful season for Empire, starting again with San Diego Sockers on that home opener. All right, let's get into Angel City, And 2 weeks after one legend, Allie Riley, announces she was calling it a career, this week, U.S. women's national team legend and the star Angel City was supposed to be built around, Kristen Press, also decided it was time. Her wife, Tobin Heath, announcing earlier in the year that she was retiring. So I think they're both going to ride off into the sunset with incredible U.S. women's national team careers under their belt. Back in 2022, let's not forget, Kristen Press became the first player to sign with ACFC. Not the first after they got a roster together, not the first big name, but the absolute first, the Southern California native coming home. Obviously, we know that injuries played a huge role, unfortunately, in her 4 years here with Angel City. But let's not forget, 155 caps with the U.S. women's national team, 64 goals, 2 World Cup champion teams in 2015 and 2019. What is the legacy of Kristen Press, Tim, with Angel City, and then maybe a little bit bigger picture above and beyond that as a U.S. women's national team player?
Yeah, I think that when she signed, as you mentioned, as the very first player for Angel City, I think that was a a very big thing for Angel City. It was a great thing for the league. I think what will take her away from being the best player ever to play for Angel City were those injuries, like you mentioned. It was a bummer, and she just came in. There were such high hopes that Angel City was going to play well behind her, put a great team behind her, and that Kristen Press was going to lead them to the promised land, at least to a final, right? I think what it will go down to is that she will be an excellent player for Angel City, who unfortunately had some injuries. But when you back up from it, I think she's one of the top 5 best players to play the women's game in the world. A couple of World Cups, you mentioned it, 150 caps, dozens of goals. You can't take away anything from that. So I think easily, if she's not top 5, guaranteed top 10 best players to ever play the women's game.
And being able to play with so many special players, right? The Alex Morgans, the Megan Rapinos, her wife Tobin Heath, Rose Lavelle. I mean, the names just go on and on and on. But yeah, like we said, the Angel City portion of her career just never amounted to what we all hoped it would. 37 matches total, and just the 4 goals over 37 matches, 1 assist. Certainly not something that you wanted to see from the way that she closed her career, but has played in 20 matches this season, has come off the bench in 18 of those 20, registering the 1 goal this season. So Kristen Press and Allie Riley, both, it's going to be an electric atmosphere at BMO Stadium for their final match Sunday, October 19th at BMO. Unfortunately, playoff hopes are few and far between. They are technically still alive. They need all of the help from the teams above them, and it looks unlikely. But look, being able to host Portland Thorns at BMO Stadium, honoring, they'll get a little boost, right, from honoring Allie Riley, from honoring Kristen Press. Hopefully those two will be able to take the pitch one more time. But I worry about, Tim, and you can tell me what you think about this. I worry about what that might do to the competitiveness of a game that you absolutely need 3 points from. Are you going to try to find Kristen Press minutes to get her flowers before she comes off? Are you going to try to find Allie Riley, who hasn't played in quite a while for Angel City? You're going to try to find them minutes and really kind of throw in the towel on the season, maybe worry about, just giving them their due? Or are you going full throttle for the win and maybe leaving those players off the pitch potentially?
Well, I think if you don't want an absolute riot at Angel City at BMO this weekend, you better get at least Kristen Press in that game. Allie Riley, I could see, okay, we'll give her a very nice ceremony before the game and after the game, and you do that type of stuff. But I think there will be a riot if you don't put Press in the game. But I think you have to go for that win. I think the reality is that you need to win, and especially here in LA, and that place is going to be packed, right? So the biggest question I have, and this comes up from Si60 when he retired last year for the Strykers. He went out and he said, hey, this is my last game. Now, it's not Kristen Press's last game because Angel City have got one more against Chicago. But the reality is how is that going to affect Kristen Press? Is it going to be a great thing, or is it going to take away from her ability to play at the highest level, Scar?
Sure. And look, they're only in this position that they could potentially still make the playoffs because of a fantastic performance against the Houston Dash at home. Kennedy Fuller with a great goal, pouncing on a poor clearance. Oh, by the way, Kennedy Fuller exactly half Kristen Press's age at 18 years old. Absolutely incredible. Really hoping she gets some run under head coach Alex Strauss's system. But can we talk for just a second about that assist, Tim? And I know you know what I'm talking about, the little back heel flick by June Endo. As soon as she flicked it, all you heard was dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, because that was going to be all over SportsCenter. Assist of the week in NWSL. Just talk to me about, by the way, good on Mayara to finish the play, right? She still has to run 30 yards, round the keeper.
She still had to run 50 yards to put it in the net. I mean,
right? So, I mean, it was a great goal, but let's talk about June Endo and that little flick for an assist for a second.
Yeah, and what I am most impressed by is just the build up to it, right? They get it out of the get it out of Angel City's box, and then you pull it up that left wing and you put it up to June Endo, and without batting an eyelash, without doing anything, she just backheels it right onto Mayara, and she just takes it down and scores a great goal on something that you could almost think, oh my gosh, that was a great pass. I better do something with it and freak out and put it 3 rows deep, right? So it was an incredible. I had to watch it 3 times on replay. I'm going back on the TV. I watched it live and I'm like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, an absolutely incredible play. Again, the finish was fantastic by Mayara, but that assist by June Endo, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
All right. This is normally the part of the show where we have our best 11. However, due to some technical difficulties and some other stuff going on in the background here, what we've decided to do is take this time, last few minutes of the show, and what Tim and I are going to do is maybe just talk about 1 or 2 different players this week who really impressed us. And Tim, I'll have you go first. I hope I know who you're going to say first, but if you don't, I'm going to say it for my person. So I just want to know, of all the teams in action, of all the players in action this week, who was a player that really jumped out at you?
I got to give it to Colin Shetler. I'm going to have to give them to him for the clean sheet tonight. I'm going to have to. I mean, there's 3 or 4 that I'd like to, but I'm going to have to go. I'm going to be a little bit up a homer this week, and I'm going to have to give it to the Orange County goalkeeper. And just because it's another one of these games that they have to do, it was a 3-3 game over the weekend. And look, we don't normally give best 11 cred to somebody that gave up 3 goals, but to come up with the victory tonight on another clean sheet, I'm going to give it to Shetler.
All right. I thought you were going to go, and I'll go this way with Ousmane Sylla. What a day to get your first goal of the season, the winner in stoppage time, exactly what they needed down there in Orange County. I'm also going to shift my focus over. First of all, if you haven't seen, again, after you're done watching this over on YouTube, go over and watch the June Endo and Mayara goal, because it is one of the prettiest goals that Angel City has scored in their club's history. So make sure you see that. But I want to give flowers to somebody who didn't even play for their club team this week, and that's Matthew Chonier of LAFC. He came off the bench in Canada's first of their 2 matches this week to register 3 chances created and a fantastic work rate in only about 22 minutes of play. And I think something that has gone unnoticed in the sunny coming to LAFC is that Matthew Chonier also came to LAFC a couple weeks before that, and he has been a piece in the midfield. We thought when Igor Jesus went down, we'd really be in trouble. Well, Matthew Chonier has proven that our midfield can be even more offensive and more dynamic, and he's doing it with the Canadian men's national team and has been for quite some time. So he's a player who might not get a lot of run, but I just want to remind everybody out there are diamonds in the rough on all 5 of these fantastic teams that we cover each week. And as we head into the World Cup, those are going to be some of the guys everyone's going to know about Sonny. And if Gabon qualifies, everyone's going to know about Denis. But it's those little guys that are in the mix. I think, to me, that's where it really lies. Right, Tim?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it. Chonier has just been played impeccably. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge.
Right. There you go.
For LAFC, since he's come over, and he's really been the quietest big signing that LAFC has probably done in 4 years.
Well, this has not been a quiet episode. You have joined us again for another fantastic episode of Soccer in 60, brought to you by SAC Health System. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.